Producing Future Homes and Communities was a week-long residency at Tate Exchange in February 2018. Tate Exchange is located on level 5 of the Blavatnik building at Tate Modern. Each associate is given the space to create projects that encourage engagement with collections, artists and the public in response to an annual theme. This year's theme is production.
We developed Producing Future Homes and Communities with students from Chelsea College of Arts, which is one of 6 constituent colleges of the University of the Arts London. We work together on one of 7 collaborative research studios which are part of BA Interior and Spatial Design.
We started our residency at Tate Exchange with a walk from Tate to Tate, from the past into the contemporary and beyond.
We asked students to think about this spatio-temporal shift in anticipation of our residency. Like many large cities, London's systems are seizing. The fact that crumbling infrastructure is something we face on a daily basis points to the need for robust, innovative public systems in the future.
The students produced what we came to call seeds. These were little bits of infrastructure that they carried on the journey from Tate to Tate, to plant at Tate Exchange and grow into a resource to support the needs of London in 2068.
We were also interested in less obvious, but nevertheless vital and often invisible infrastructures like care, trust, loyalty, well-being. To explore this further, we kicked off our week of programming with several workshops. The first of these was a non-competitive simulation game where we projected ourselves into desirable futures and reverse engineer to the present.
We decided to create this workshop on future souvenirs because we thought basically that as designers we need to think about the objects of the future.
The first thing the user needs to do is to choose one of the objects we have collected in our souvenirs catalog, and they have to choose as well one of the production lines we are showing them. So after that, they are going where they start creating their own souvenirs for the future.
At the center of Producing Future Homes and Communities was a large-scale experimental build. Using recycled materials from Tate Modern and beyond, it was designed and created by students and members of the public over the course of several days.
The build, which was roughly at a scale of 1 to 200, traced the Thames from Vauxhall Bridge, where our college is located, to London Bridge.
We imagined a future where waste could be recycled and turned into a form of currency. With this new system, we imagined all landfills being cleared by 2050. Since rubbish then becomes a currency, we also set up a little trading centre.
One of the most interesting aspects of Tate Exchange is that it's a public program. So we were producing in public. We were making the making visible.
All kinds of people joined in the build, kids and parents for sure, but there was also a meetup group that brought to the museum People who wouldn't otherwise have met. This included a dynamic retiree. His name was Jim, and he brought his experience, his know-how, and most of all his enthusiasm over the course of several days. On the final day of producing Future Homes and Communities, we transacted alternative futures through a non-commercial community market. It showcased creative practices that variously proposed utopic, dystopic, and a medley of other future scenarios.
So our stall is basically reinterpreting, we call it reinterpreting the aqal. And the aqal is a Somali word for literally the home. But that word doesn't necessarily mean, a permanent home that is in one place. It actually means, it comes from the nomadic home, which is the traditional style home. And it moves around, it's everywhere. You construct it, you deconstruct it. And what we were really interested in was that in nomadic cultures, whether it's Somalis or all around the world actually, it's only the women that build. Whereas in the West, it's seen as traditionally masculine occupation. But in nomadic cultures, it's only the women that build. They design it, and it's not necessarily about the end result. It's about the process, about bonding mother to daughter, about friendship, communicating, singing together, reciting poetry. It's an amazing process of just women creating something that is also meaningful to them.
So this is primarily starting to think about actually what skills do we have within communities that we can share to take kind of the pressure, whether it's financial pressure or opportunities or kind of the death of certain skills within certain communities as populations age and die off. At the same time trying to think about social issues such as loneliness and actually how can we just look at our whole kind of skills as a community, as a resource that we can use to help each other.
The final day erupted with creative energy, with kids and their parents coming to contribute to the build.
They added rockets, infrastructures for pets, and new bridges and islands to the build.
It is all very awakening and all very positive for the future.
Yeah,
We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it really was inspiring, to see young people taking such an interest in how the city or how our planet is going to develop and thinking about it technically and scientifically and with such a humanistic aspect as well. How are people going to be in these situations?